It is August 6th, Monday, August 6th, which is the way I usually say it, but I didn't say it this way, this way. What is wrong with me? I don't know. This guy's daily drive. Damn. And good Monday morning, if there is such a thing. Oh, God. You know, I almost took today off. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, and no, I'm not going to say how old she is, because that is just not cool, man. Just not cool. And we had a really, really nice day. Peter and his girlfriend Liza came up from Fredericksburg, and Peter actually came on Saturday, spent the night, got together with some of his friends on Saturday and drank and stuff. And Guy spent some time with them drinking and stuff, playing video games and whatnot. And it's so weird. My son Guy, he has a driver's license, but he doesn't drive. So anytime Peter comes, especially if he has some friends over, at some point in the evening, they will go to someplace and pick up some beer or what have you. And I talked about this in one of the other ones. They got these Steel Reserve, I think they're called. I don't know if you call them beers or malt liquor, or I don't even know. They're more or less just flavored beers. And I don't see the point in it, but I'm not really a beer drinker, so what do I know? So yesterday, Guy gets up and he's hungover from the night before. I don't know how much he had to drink, or if it was not so much how much he had to drink, but what he was drinking. But he proclaimed himself to be hungover and was just having an awful time of it until he went downstairs and vomited, and then came back up and wanted breakfast. Yeah, hooray for being young and doing things like that, I guess. And it's not like I didn't do much the same. I could tell some pretty weird stories about getting super trashed and the consequences of said trashness the next day. But what I really wanted to talk about today was the art of gift giving. Now, as I said, yesterday was my wife's birthday, and it was a significant birthday. It's one of those you don't just kind of go, oh, okay, it's another day. You can't really do that with this kind of birthday. So I had kind of inquired what she would like for her birthday. She's really, really hard to get something for. Most people, when you get them a gift, you kind of figure out what their hobbies are. And getting something related to one of their hobbies is a great way to find that gift that will really, really work nicely. But her hobbies currently are genealogy research, and all she needs for that is a computer, which she has, and being a master gardener, neither of which requires much in the way of, oh, okay, well, here's that special thing for genealogy research that will just make it so much easier to find all these people who are related to you that you didn't know existed. Well, there is no such thing. if you already have a computer and the software to do the basic research, then there's really nothing else that you need beyond just the time it takes to do this research. And with gardening, once you have a set of tools that you like, you don't need more tools unless there's something that's, that comes up that's different from what you've been doing before, that is so different that you can't use what you already have. You've got your basic gardening tools, and Tracy's had that for a long time. So I started trying to think of other things that I could do that would be related to, something that we could do, or that's something that she could do that she would enjoy. And my first thought, and it's something I would like to do too, was to get some tickets to a Broadway play in New York, and then travel up to New York, spend a night or two, and go see this play and just have a good time. And I broached the subject with Tracy, and she was like, "Oh, but it's so much money, and no, and it's just for this." And she, as much as she would like to do something like that, and I really think that she would, justifying spending $1,000, which between Broadway tickets and a couple of nights in a New York hotel and food and everything else, is a remarkably easy prospect. Very, very easy to do. And I actually had two different plays that I wanted to, that I think we both would enjoy. And of course, if there was one that she could think of that she'd like to see, that would be fine. And those two plays, the first one was Book of Mormon, the play done by, bouncy road. The play done by the guys that created South Park. And she had expressed an interest in hoping to see that. Well, it's playing up in New York, and so that would be fun. The other one was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is actually kind of two plays in one. There's a part one and a part two, just because it's so long. And we, I looked at what that would cost. The reason why I just looked over is there's this woman in a car that is like just jerking all over the road, and I didn't know if it was because she was drunk or just couldn't drive, and I just took a peek at her, and she's all hunched over the steering wheel and looking forward with such concentration that I think it's mostly just she's so afraid of driving. I don't think she's drunk. I don't think she's on any medication or anything like that. I think this is just a case of she's so afraid of driving that any time that she's going to drive, she's going to make mistakes. She doesn't know how to relax behind the wheel of a car, which can be very, very dangerous. And she's coming up behind me now. Oh, good. She's making the left-hand turn away from me. Even better. So, anyway, those were the two plays I was looking at. I was looking at Book of Mormon and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. But she didn't want to do it. She was thinking that it was too much money for just a couple of days. And it was like, okay, it's not really a question of the money. It's how much enjoyment are we going to get out of this versus how much money that we would spend. Last year, was it last? Yeah, last year, for Peter's birthday, for a week, I easily spent well over $3,000 going down to Florida, between a car rental, 6-7 nights in a hotel, 4 of them in a very expensive hotel in Orlando, park tickets to Universal Studios and all the rest of that. I mean, it adds up so fast. And then that's not even counting food and gas for the car and everything else, and just buying little things here and there. All this stuff adds up. So I spent a lot of money for my son's 21st birthday, my son Peter's 21st birthday. And that was fine, because he had a really, really good time, which was the point. But Tracy doesn't really think of things in that way. She wants to have a good time, but she just doesn't want to spend a lot of money doing it. It's like, okay, I don't know what to say. So instead, there's a Chinese restaurant that we both really, really like. And I thought, well, how about we just get a bunch of people together and we go out on your birthday and we just have a nice dinner with everybody. So I invited 2 of our, not so much, well, one of them I guess is kind of neighbors, even though they live on a different street. But we've known them, both of these couples, for a very, very long time, because their kids grew up with our kids. And it worked out great, because not only were they able to come, but their kids were too, all of their kids. So it was, I'm not going to say last names, Joe and Carmel and their son Marco, and Pat and Fajuni and their sons Russell and Steven. And Marco brought his girlfriend, which was fine. So we had a pretty big crowd, because then of course there was also myself and Tracy and Peter and Guy and Peter's girlfriend Liza. So we had a nice sized crowd. And the nice thing about going to a Chinese restaurant, and here's a tip: if you're at a Chinese restaurant with a big group of people, don't have everyone order their own entree, because number one, it's going to be way more food in most Chinese restaurants than one person can eat. So we had 12, 13 people, and we ordered 8 different entrees. I've got them listed someplace, but it doesn't really matter. We got 8 different entrees and some appetizers, and a couple people had drinks. And it was more than enough food for the group of people that we had. And, we didn't walk away from the table so full that, we were going to pass out at the end of the meal, which is what, if everybody gets their own entree, is typically going to happen at a Chinese restaurant. And a great time was had. And I footed the bill, because you don't invite people out to dinner and then expect them to pay. That's just not the way it works. Plus, it was Tracy's birthday, which was the occasion. What they did do, and I didn't fight them that hard on this, they did offer to pick up the tip, these 2 other couples. And that was fine. That's fair. So it worked out. The bill for the evening, and this was with, 12, 13 people, and we're talking 8 entrees, multiple appetizers. A lot of people got soup. It was just a little over $200 for 13 people, which on the face of it is like nothing for that many people. That's $12, $13 per person. Well, actually, no. Well, a little bit more than that. $15 per, well, regardless, it's, it's well under $20 per person. And if you'd gone to an Applebee's or Outback Steakhouse or, God only knows, any place like that, you would have spent a heck of a lot more than that. So everybody had a wonderful time, and they all, not all of them, but many of them brought Tracy little gifts for her birthday, which was nice. And instead of, typically when people come into a restaurant and they do a birthday thing, the staff will come out and sing, happy birthday. And this place was no different, but there was a little twist to it. Now, we'd already sung happy birthday, but they brought her out, instead of a cake, a scoop of this, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a rainbow sherbet. And this is the same sherbet that they serve between the appetizers and the main course. It's kind of a cleanse. It cleanses your palate kind of thing. And it's really, really good. Oh my God, this sherbet was just so delicious. So they bring out a scoop of this sherbet instead of just like the little tiny portion that they give you in between these little meals, or the meals. And they had a candle on it. And they all came out and they sang happy birthday in Chinese, which, that cracked me up. And of course, none of us knew the words. So that's okay. Now, actually, Fujuni may have known the words. I don't know if she speaks Mandarin or whatever dialect of Chinese that they were singing in. But it was just such a wonderful time. It didn't cost a huge ton amount of money, which is what Tracy was so concerned about. And we were all together for one big happy family meal. So that worked out really well, and I was very pleased with how the evening turned out. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to go out and get some huge thing that you think the other person is going to want or need. Sometimes the best gift is just the gift of time. If you would like to get a hold of me, you can reach me via my email address, which is guy@mymac.com. Or, probably the best way is to reach me on the Twitters, where my Twitter handle there is MacParrot. You can also find me on Wednesday nights, where I do the Mac to the Future Go live cast over there on the Facebooks, usually with Warren Sklar, sometimes with other people. And of course, the thing that I have been doing for many, many, many years with the fantastic Mr. Gazmaz, the MyMac.com podcast. We just recorded one yesterday. What am I talking about? Had to do it on my wife's birthday. But that's a whole nother story. Yeah, I talked about time management a couple days ago. Saturday was not very good time management, but we did get it recorded, and you can hear that almost every single week. Gaz and I do the MyMac.com podcast. So I'd like to say thanks for watching Guy's Daily Drive, and I will catch you next time.